Bear down, Bears fans. Another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the designer, Shea Norling in the building. It's draft talk everywhere. And I saw Ben Johnson in a Michigan Pro Day video.
I did too.
Tingly. Saw Dennis Allen just right in the face of somebody.
The power of prayer.
Hey, listen. How's the circle looking?
We're doing well.
Are we doing well?
Candles are staying lit.
I feel like everyone has called Jacksonville's bluff. Like, we don't need a defensive lineman. Everybody's like, you're taking Mason Graham. Just say it. Like,
we'll see.
Every mock draft I've seen recently is just like, yeah, shut up. You're taking Mason Graham. Although Jacksonville known to be a little dumb.
Well, and the thing about mock drafts is nobody knows what anybody's going to do. We really don't. Like, I think the top three picks, I'm at a point where they feel pretty solidified that it's going to be Tennessee sticks and takes Cam Ward. Cleveland takes Abdul Carter, and the Giants take Shedeur. After that, I think all bets are off. Patriots could take Ted McMillan. They could take Travis Hunter. They could take Will Campbell. Is there a world where Travis Hunter slips all the way to 10? There might be. Once we get through the top three, it's a total crapshoot.
Dog, that's a world we haven't even explored. I don't even know if we got an episode for that yet. Like a Travis Hunter slips episode? Oh, God.
The closer we get to this, the more I wonder if NFL teams are going to wake up and realize he is neither the best wide receiver or the best corner in this draft.
His allure is that
he's both.
He can do both.
But he's not
going to let him do both at the NFL level.
Right. If you're going to draft him to be a corner, then you should draft Will Johnson. If you're going to draft him to be a receiver, then you should draft Ted McMillan. He's not going to do both, and he's not the best at either skill. So I think we're going to hit a reality check moment with Travis Hunter.
It's going to be interesting to see how the NFL views him if they do think that, because here's the thing, he is a phenomenal wide receiver. He is a phenomenal DB. The thing is, what's he going to be better at in the NFL if he can't do both? Is there a world where you force yourself to believe somebody else is better? Which, not to say, and I think that's the part that's tough. I do think he's the top 5 candidate, top 5 player, I should say. I think you should be looking to take him high in the draft. But is there a team in this draft that goes, well, I mean, listen, we're not going to let him play both ways, and we kind of need a quarterback here. We've heard the rumblings of the Jackson Dart rise getting closer to the draft. It'll be interesting to see if maybe that's where one of the teams kind of convinces themselves of something else.
I don't know if I think Travis Hunter is a top 5 player. I think he's just like a fascinating player. And this isn't me saying he's not awesome. He is. He's really good both at corner and at wide receiver. He's just not the best at either of them. And I think there's an argument he wasn't even the best receiver on his own team in college. So I have trouble, and not that we're doing a Travis Hunter podcast here.
It's a question mark for you, but it affects the Bears.
I feel like he's Jabril Peppers on steroids, just in terms of prospect, which is like, he can do so much for us. Yeah. He's so versatile. He offers all of these skills. You have to take him, and all the hype that came with that name and playing at Michigan and being such an exciting player. And then you draft him and you go, oh, he's kind of just a regular safety.
That's interesting. That's one of the few takes I've heard on Travis Hunter where it's like, I can see it going either way. I could see him being an elite DB and getting some reps at receiver. I could also see it being like, oh, the excitement was that he did both, and it's actually, we probably shouldn't have taken him this high.
Or maybe he just proves me wrong, and there's an impossibility that he can accomplish, and he's truly Shohei Ohtani, and he can play both ways. Come on. Nobody's playing 140 snaps in an NFL game multiple times in a season and surviving. It's not happening.
That would be insane if he had the ability. I think here's the thing though, right? If you can draft him off of that insight that he can do it, is there a game where you utilize that? Where it's like, listen, we need you both ways today. We have no wide receivers. Like, is there a game where you can still utilize that talent versus a season? I think if you get 2 weeks of that a year, Like,
It's
that's almost worth it in that sense.
This game's the difference between a division championship and a wild card and going on the road in the playoffs. Travis, we need 120 snaps out of you today.
I would almost say it's worth it in that sense if he's able to do it at the NFL level. It'll be interesting to see kind of what the Bears do there. EO, you had something you wanted to add there? Oh, you good? You good? All right, cool. What I do find interesting, though, is with the Bears at that pro day, the Mason Graham prayer circle, the Michigan Pro Day, the Mason Graham prayer circle, alive and well. We're hoping that he falls there. If he doesn't, though, there is another name on that defensive line that is absolutely a monster in the middle. And dare I say, maybe something very serious that the Chicago Bears need because of the contracts that they have paid out. I said, when you invest in the trenches, when you go heavy, you're going to have to get rid of at some point your favorite Bear's favorite Bear. The conversation around Andrew Billings has been an interesting one this season because coming back from injury, you expect him to be a part of this rotation. But last year of a deal, are you going to pay him moving forward? Yep. Those are question marks that have to be answered. And I know it may be a reach if you take him at 10. But again, is somebody going to be willing to trade back with you?
Yep.
I would be interested in Kenneth Grant at 10th overall in this draft.
Look, he's a really good player. He would occupy Andrew Billings' role, so that becomes interesting. There are advantages naturally. You get 5 years of Kenneth Grant versus a gamble on 1 year with Andrew Billings and hoping he's good enough to earn an extension and be here long term. No, of course not. But it's just procedurally how you build a team. Yes. I don't have anything against Kenneth Grant. Like you said, it's a trade down thing. I think he's projecting to be in the 20s. Could that be wrong? Range, yeah. And he ends up much higher than that? Sure. Can you get away with reaching for somebody? Of course, it happens all the time. My issue would be if I'm not getting Mason Graham, then I think I'm good on the interior and I want an edge rusher. Like if you tell me I can have Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant or the field of edge rushers, right, and I can't, rather, if I can't have Mason Graham and I can have Kenneth Grant or the field of edge rushers, I'm going with the field. I want one of the edges. I need somebody opposite Montez Sweat to be impactful and put pressure on left tackles, move left tackles. And the Bears don't have that right now. Yeah. And I don't buy that Dio's going to be that guy. He's never been that guy. Maybe that you just get miracle player development out of Dennis Allen, and he is, and I hope that he is. I'm not rooting against him, but I don't believe you can overinvest in that position. So if Shamar Stewart's there, if Mike Green's there are names out there that like we can get a little. I would rather take those shots. Yeah. Now, James Pearce Jr. is one of the edge rushers I'm pretty firmly out on.
Really?
Yeah, I did the.
You did the tape.
I did the scouting report. I'm done.
Yeah. Really?
I'm good.
Okay, because this is interesting. Because last week you had said you hadn't watched the tape yet, but that it was weird to you just looking at the numbers that he'd fallen out. What changed for you on James Pearce possibly at 10? Does he feel? And I said this is the name I threw out there. I said he feels like Leonard Floyd now. He feels like he will always be the other guy. In the sense that he's a single skill set guy, sure. I think they're to the outside. Yeah, it's all it is. Yeah. And it's the issue I had watching him, he's fabulous with his speed. He uses it really well. He runs a lot of stunts for being an end, runs a lot of twists for being an end, finds ways to leverage some mismatches. But if he doesn't beat you with the first step, he ain't beating you. If any offensive, I agree with that. If any offensive lineman gets their hands on him first, he's done. He's effectively out of the play. He can go sideline to sideline if you need to in an option play or a pitch or anything in the backfield. Play recognition's awesome. The first step is one of the best I've seen. Jared Verse type. Yeah. But Jared Verse had pass rush moves. Jared Verse, when I watched him at Florida State, he was bowling over people. And I'm like, how the fuck is this guy not just a unanimous top 5 pick? Yeah. James Pearce, I watch, and it's just speed. And he is fast. You're in a 4.340. He's blazing. But if he doesn't beat you with speed, he's not going to beat you. And you can't have guys like that in the NFL. He's got to go somewhere where he can take a year to be nothing but a third down back, known pass rush situation, get off on the first step, and blast through the offensive line or around the offensive line. Yeah. Like you're going to do nothing but get your snaps on third down where we know they're passing the ball.
and we're going to build you up. We're going to get you stronger. We're going to get you in the weight room, all the stuff you have to do. Here, I'm more interested in getting a player that I think can be a 3-down player. And I don't think that's James Pearce Jr. or even close at this point.
I think here would be
He's Brian Burns. I think Brian Burns is the right comp for him.
The reason I say Leonard Floyd is because of the speed and not a lot of ability to get through you. And the question that I would have is it worth it for you to take that guy there where you listen? The one thing that I love about this coaching staff is it feels like they're going to coach. Feels like they're going to develop pieces. If you take a guy like James Pearce, who comes in with a known skill that I'm not going to lie to you, will probably come out of his rookie year and he'll finish with 7-8 sacks.
Oh, in
his rookie year.
I'd be stunned. I don't think he'll be on the field enough.
I think he would. Well, it depends on who takes him, right? If you take him high, I think he's one of those guys who is going to have the speed to get around a lot of, depending on which side. The fact that he can play both sides as well. But if it's the left tackle or right tackle, whoever the weaker guy is or the slower guy is, I think he will get some easy sacks that way. Now, those numbers don't mean much if you're not impacting the entire game. You can be a Chase Young and have a 10.5 sack season and go, why don't I like what I'm seeing more? Because you're not giving me that in the run game. You're not giving me that in the, as far as being out there a 3-down guy. That would be where I would say you have a skill set that you know is going to get you sacks. Now we got to finish developing this guy. We got to get the extra.
Yeah.
You got to add at least 15 pounds. What's he, 248, 250, somewhere in there?
He looks lighter than he weighs in. So I think it's a very generous weigh-in that he got at Tennessee. Yeah. And like when you watch him on tape, he's slender.
Yes.
He's small. And I use Brian Burns as the comp because when the Panthers drafted Brian Burns, they made him a 3rd-down player, and that was it.
Yeah.
They weren't getting him on the field. And I feel like that's what James Pearce Jr. is at this point. You brought up the versatility. Can play both sides of the line. I think he played over a gap even a little bit. Yeah. You're not doing that at his size in the NFL. You're not going to play over a gap. He can play hand up. He can play hand in the dirt. So there's a lot of versatility there, but there's also a little bit of what is your role? In the NFL, we want you to specialize in something. Yeah. Unless you're Micah Parsons, and I don't think he is.
No.
We're not going to be moving you all over the place all of the time. And that's where I think as a rookie, if he gets 8 sacks, I'd be floored. Because I just don't expect him to be used that much. No matter where he goes. I think whoever takes him will understand we're getting a guy that we need to build up. And then to add in, and the character concern
that
stuff.
At 10 is taking a chance on that at 10.
Yeah, I don't need to do that.
I agree with you.
If I'm taking a shot there, I'd rather it be a Shamar Stewart type.
And see,
even a Mykel Williams type.
Mykel Williams is an interesting name, but I wanted to bring up Shamar Stewart, and you kind of led us there perfectly. By the way, we got to do this here. Forgot about that. The Chicago Bears podcast is brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group. Find your next Chevy, Toyota, or Acura drive off in under 60 minutes, or they'll make your first car payment free. If we need to, we can drop this in post and put it earlier. Also brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana, located 30 minutes from Soldier Field, I-80, 94, exit 6. Got to pay those bills, my guy. Shout out to all the sponsors that support the channel. This came out probably on Friday. I believe this came out Friday, where one, I found out that if you go to thehuddle.com, just to add some context to all of this, they have been keeping track of the most accurate mock drafters basically back till 2002. So the last 23 years of mock drafts. And number 2 on that list, the second most accurate guy, Brandon Donahue, has Shamar Stewart to the Chicago Bears 10th overall. How he has his mock draft falling: Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter goes 4 in a Panthers trade up, Mason Graham 5, Ashton Genty 6, Tyler Warren 7, 8, Will Campbell to the Patriots, still getting Will Campbell, 9, Armand Membo to the Saints. And with all of those names off of the board, Shamar Stewart goes 10. And when I saw this, very similar to what you said about James Pearce, that's how I feel about Shamar Stewart. Let's watch football. This is and not to say Shamar Stewart can't be good, but this is the, for lack of a better player, Anthony Richardson of this draft. You're enamored with the pro day. You're enamored with the draft combine numbers. You're enamored with the RAS scores. And listen, Ryan Poles has talked about those a lot. He loves his RAS scores. I need to be enamored with you as a football player if I'm drafting you to be a football player. And there is, like he says, my favorite, the guy who I model myself after is Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers was playing basketball during March Madness and still found time 3 years in a row, in his 3 years at UNC, I should say, to get 30 and a half sacks. Unfortunately, you come about 24 and a half short of that if you're Shamar Stewart. I'm not saying he can't be a good player, but I would take a chance on James Pearce Jr. before I took a chance on Shamar Stewart, because James Pearce showed me something that actually is tangible evidence that this guy will be a good football player.
And he won a lot, James Pearce. I mean, and I'm not talking about team wins. I'm talking about his ability to win pass rush snaps.
Yeah.
He did it a great tick. One thing I'm surprised about with Shamar Stewart, as much as he gains traction, I'm a little surprised it's him getting the smoke out of the Texas A&M defensive line and not Nick Scorton. Because when I watch Texas A&M play, I do come away feeling like Nick Scorton's the better player.
No,
and I don't know that I even feel like it's that close.
Here's my issue. It's impossible to, like, I don't even know how the Shamar Stewart conversation is a conversation. Physical specimen, right? How many physical specimens have the Bears drafted that couldn't actually play football? He's a physical specimen. He is 296.5, I think he is. He's a monster off of the edge. He does not get to the quarterback. He does not stop the run. I'm very simple with my football. If you're an edge, I need you to get to the quarterback. I need you to stop the run. To me, now I said this morning on the Breeze, he reminds me of a project type, like kind of what Dayo Odengbo is right now, and what I need Dennis Allen to do, except Dayo Odengbo has an 8-sack season in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he fits exactly what Dennis Allen needs. And I think that if you tweak a couple of things or just tell him focus on getting to the quarterback and don't focus on anything extra there, you probably get more sacks out of him. I'm not taking that chance with the 10th overall pick in Shamar Stewart.
What I really need is a game wrecker. I need a guy that I believe will wreak havoc at the point of attack, will get after people, and I don't need to see you get a ton of sacks. I'm more interested in pressures. And I need a guy that I feel confident will get a lot of pressures. And if the Bears feel that's Shamar Stewart, that's fine. And if they feel like it's James Pearce, that's fine.
Yeah.
If they go a different route in the first round, I would be very much okay with this. In fact, it might be my preference after Mason Graham, who is far and away the guy I need. Like, you talk about game wrecker, go watch Mason Graham.
Yes.
Game wrecker. He's a pocket destroyer.
Yeah.
You don't get a pocket when you're going up against a defensive line that's got Mason Graham on it. Yes, he had help with Kenneth Grant next to him. But I think if you have a Mason Graham, Andrew Billings combo up front, you're not going to get a lot of clean pockets.
Yeah.
You're also not going to run the ball, period. That's who I need. But if you can't get Mason Graham and you choose to go a different direction, like offensive line or, God forbid, running back with the 10th pick, or you trade down, I think the guy I want next most, honestly, and this might surprise people, but I think there's a value added on this. Princely Umamiel out of Ole Miss is a beast.
That's a dog.
And it's, again, surprising to me, all the smoke that Walter Nolan, Ole Miss's defensive tackle, has gathered. I assume NFL people are watching film. I assume they're seeing Princely Umamiel off the edge when they're watching Walter Nolan tape. I don't get how he's not getting any of that same smoke.
I think because you feel like, very similar to the James Pearce conversation, I feel like his season 1 and season 2 changed. His sophomore season, James Pearce wasn't getting focused on nearly as much. And I think he got a lot of sacks early on because of that. When they started focusing on him, he started to disappear. Walter Nolan didn't disappear, but is Princely getting more of the numbers this season because Walter Nolan's getting so much focus.
Well, I think another bit of the knock on him is how old he is. He's played 5 years in college. People forget Princely Mykel was in the mix at a Florida offensive line for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And then he had the 5th season, and it feels like those players often get a little dinged for their age. I actually think, and we see it with quarterbacks a lot, the more football you played in college might be the better because you have more experience. And I think there's a smaller learning curve for guys like that.
Yeah.
Rather than the 3-year player who has 2 years where they flashed, James Pearce, you get a guy who played a ton of football in college and is much more ready to come in and be involved.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The only thing about the age thing is I do think it does play more of a part because how long you're going to have somebody.
Yeah, and that's fine.
In the NFL, it is different, right? It's not like the NBA where it's like, hey, the NBA, I don't care. He's 24 years old. He's going to play till he's 45. Like most players are playing a long time in the NBA.
Couldn't be more reversed because in the NFL, you're going to in the NFL the average career is what a little over 3 seasons.
Yeah.
If I get a kid who's 24 years old out of Ole Miss as my edge rusher and I have him in the second round and it's a 4-year deal, I don't really care if he gets a second contract. I can do it again in the next one. And I know that's gross. At that point, I'm talking about a human as an asset.
Yeah, kind of.
But
that's a little different, I think, when you talk about re-upping an edge rusher, right? Like if you're going to re-up this guy and he's 29 by a second contract, maybe you're saving money. 29 is not the end of his career, but you're having a very different contract negotiation than if you're having it with a 21-year-old.
Right. But you will also not have Montez Sweat on your roster anymore.
That is true.
This is the way this was the biggest point I made about getting Jared Verse last year, and nobody wanted to fucking listen to me, was you just paid Montez Sweat big money. He's here for 5 years. If you draft one now, an edge rusher, then in 5 years when Montez Sweat's money is up, you can move that money to the guy you drafted 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It works perfectly. The timing is perfect. So now if you get a second round edge rusher this year, the timing's still perfect if that's Mykel.
Yeah.
And even if it's by the time you get to the 5th year of Montez Sweat's deal, I'm sure the money's not real anymore anyway. So even if you take an edge rusher in the first round now, your window is still about the same. But that's why I view it as so important to get this done now and to do it with youth, because you can set yourself up to have Montez Sweat's replacement before you need to worry about Montez Sweat's replacement.
Yeah. No, that I agree with. And I think that is something the Bears are going to have to focus on in the draft, no matter what. I've said I'd be interested in Mike Green high in this draft. Like, I think you need that guy who it feels like. I think at edge, you're going to have to take a chance. If you're going to go edge, you're going to have to take a chance on a guy who has something already in place that he does well, but you feel can reach a level of play that's going to surpass Montez Sweat. Like, I felt the same way in the offseason. Not to say I don't think Montez Sweat can be good, but if you're telling me I can get Myles Garrett in here, or I can get Trey Hendrickson in here, or I can get all these pieces that are clearly better than Montez Sweat, I think that's what you have to be hoping for here in this draft, because while I think Montez Sweat is going to have a bounce back year, I think he's going to be very talented and help the Bears a lot this season in the pass rush game, much more than he did last season. I still think that there's a ceiling that you're going to hit with Montez Sweat. It doesn't feel like he's going to be a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL at any point.
No, he's never been one.
You know, like, is he going to be 10? Is he going to be 15? Maybe you can have that conversation, which is great to have. But you need that guy that is the top 8 pass rusher in the league to feel like this is a defensive line that's going to last.
I think Bear fans need to accept that Montez Sweat's season he had when he was traded here, and it felt like he was revolutionizing the defense, that was probably the anomaly in his career. Because who he was this last year is much more on par with who he's been his entire career, which maybe a little worse even.
Yeah, I was going to say last year was worse. Montez has been a solid edge rusher.
He's an impactful player, but he's never going to be the Nick Bosa, prime Joey Bosa. He's not the elite guy. He's in that B to B plus tier. That's where he's going to live. And you may get a season where he has an A plus season, but he's not Myles Garrett. You're not getting that out of him.
Yeah.
And I think if the only way to really supplement that is to find a B to A plus guy you can put on the other side of him.
Feels a little Robert Quinn, a good comparison there.
Yeah,
Feels a little Robert Quinn.
That's fine. Yeah.
Like you're gonna have a season every now and then where you're just like, oh my God, he's unstoppable.
And you will never have that season again. Ever.
I don't know if he'll never get to a 12 and a half.
Unless you're Myles Garrett. No, dude, look at people's careers in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you are lucky if you have one season of 12 and a half sacks. Like the reality, I talked with Brendan Riley down the hall. He's one of the Lions fans that works here. And he even admits Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to have a season that he will in all likelihood never have again.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's the one anomaly that's like, oh, every season you're going to get 14.
Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Those are the guys. Where Trey Hendrickson, 17 and a half last
year? Yeah.
Jesus. I do think you need to find the A guy. I think but I think here's the thing too, right? And I'm not going to discount this. That to me is where this coaching staff that you brought in has to step up. To me, that is where Dennis Allen has to get the most out of Montez Sweat. Because the most out of Montez Sweat, I do think, is a double-digit sack guy. And I think that's where I'm looking at the coaching staff. What are you going to get extra out of these guys? The scheme the last couple of years has been play back. We're rushing forward, take your time. In the wrong moments of the game, we're going to play loose. We're going to play back.
Yeah.
I think Dennis Allen's going to be much more aggressive. What does that do for Montez Sweat's game? I know he can get around the edge. I know he can get to the quarterback. I think those are the things where I really look at this offseason. And when EO sent us some topics this morning, he talked about, the Bears coaching staff, and was one of the good things that they kept Ryan Poles because you got this entire coaching staff in here. Like, no matter the player we take, no matter the players we sign, I'm focused on what the staff is going to do to turn those guys into the guys we believe they should be. Right? What are they going to do for Javon Dexter? What are they going to do for Montez Sweat? What is following the best wide receiver on the field going to do for the Bears defense for Jalen Johnson? Like, that's to me where this year, while I need to see improvement from the players, I really want to see if spending all this money on the coaching staff was worth it.
Yeah, that's ultimately what this is going to come down to. And if it does, then it's probably the best move. Is it too hyperbolic to say it would be the best move in the history of the organization?
What the Bears did, if this works, could go down as the best franchise pivot in Chicago sports. I would say second is Cubs going and getting Theo, probably. I'd say there's probably one right now, right? Best
easily.
Move in Chicago sports going to get Theo.
Outside of like drafting Michael Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's different. I'm talking about like a franchise change.
Right.
Like,
I get it.
Made a change to actually move in the right way. I would say it's Theo right now as the king of the hill. I don't even know if anything comes close. This might be two right now, just in optics.
Yeah, but optics don't win games,
and
so we got to see it play out.
Win and it plays out. Like, if this becomes a success, I don't even know if you have to win a Super Bowl. You changed the mindset of a franchise that wouldn't open its wallet to finally open its wallet.
Yeah, but you have to win a Super Bowl. This only works if you win a Super Bowl. You play for that.
No, I get that.
So here's the thing I would offer you, because I think people look at this. It's one of the things I hate that we do in sports media now. I'll blame Sylvie straight up. I don't want pop-up championships. I want sustained success. Dude, that shit is a myth. You can forget about it. Sustained success. Go ask a Niners fan how sustained success feels. Go ask a member of Bill's Mafia how good sustained success feels. That shit's a total fucking myth. Win Super Bowls. It's all I care about. If it's 1, 2, 3, however many it is. But as a Bears fan, I know for a fact, if they win one Super Bowl and are bad for 9 years after, you'd be in the afterglow. Why do I know that? Because this whole town is still in the afterglow of one that was 40 years ago.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong in that the Super Bowl is the pinnacle. And if you get one, right, we still think about the season that was the Super Bowl season in 2006, where the Bears go and they lose, right? And I love that I love that we always like the season kind of ends with Devin Hester running the football back.
Yeah.
And they were like, and some other stuff happened. It wasn't that important.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but I think football is the one sport that is different in that aspect. And what I mean by that is, and I think me and you had this debate on air. I would rather have my 17 weeks of football be enjoyable. Get a playoff berth. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. But I would rather have that for 10 straight years and just know I have a team that's competitive than a 1 Super Bowl, 9 losing seasons. Because when the Bears are bad, the city is miserable. And I think your day-to-day mental health is better having a good sports team. No matter what. If you're a Lions fan this year, it sucks that they didn't win.
I maybe it's more than I'll admit. I don't feel like I'm married enough to my teams to have my mental health be affected by their quality. I just like live with it, and I get angry, and it's my job. Like that's it. I don't let it affect my life. Like saying the city is miserable when the Bears are bad. I love this city. I think it's fabulous. I wouldn't call it miserable. The Bears have been bad the entire time I've lived here. So I don't know that it's necessarily that impactful.
Remember the day after the Hail Mary tip?
Yeah, of course, but that's sports. That misery is a part of it. And this is like, maybe I'm just wired different.
Yeah.
I would take a championship and be terrible for 9 years over getting a 10-year run where I'm good, but not good enough. That shit hurts, man.
Yeah.
There is nothing but misery. And the whole point of this is me saying, for this to be considered a bona fide success and one of the great moves in Chicago sports history, there has to be a banner. If there's not, then all it was a 10-year run where you were competitive and you didn't win. And your only memories of it will be the sour finishes. And yes, you had fun while it was happening, but you will look back and go, it's unbelievable we never got one out of that.
100%. I think that lives there, right? Like there is still I can't believe we didn't win a championship out of this. But I think for the Bears, it goes even deeper than that, though. Like you got your organization to change who they are. That doesn't happen often. Usually it happens to teams that go on championship runs, right? Like you look at what's going on in Kansas City. They didn't change owners. Somebody just finally went in and was like, why don't you like get Andy Reid and let him do what he does because he's really good at football.
But now it's about deliverables because you can change your philosophy. But I've seen the White Sox change their philosophy and it didn't work, so they reverted back. You know what I mean? Oof. That's where if this is a failure.
Really, though. Not really. We didn't change our philosophy in 05.
I'm not saying they changed their philosophy in 05. I'm saying they changed their philosophy when they extended all those young players and they signed Lance Lynn and they built a payroll north of $200 million. And you go, damn, Jerry's really spending on this team. And then it's a catastrophic failure and you will never get that again.
Probably not. Probably not.
So it's great that you convinced them to do things differently right now. But if this doesn't work, there's a chance they never act this way again. And I don't think just being good for 10 years is enough for everybody to look at it and go, that was worth it.
The only reason I think that won't happen is the one thing I know is no matter who's here, Kevin Warren will be here. They're not firing Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren will be here for 30 years if he wants to be.
Unless they
like that. That's the one guy. The one thing about this city, if you're a president, you're gonna be around.
You know, that's what Minnesota thought. That's what the Big Ten thought. That's not what the Chicago Bears think.
That's why I said if he wants to be.
If
he wants to be.
That's the critical part because if and when Roger Goodell's job opens up,
I can see it.
You can bet Kevin Warren's gonna be first in line.
I can see it. I can 110% see Kevin Warren walking in and going, "Hey, so I'm the commissioner now. Let's do it." Like we didn't vote yet. Oh, you will.
Yeah,
hey, that's the kind of confidence he carries. I love it.
It's gonna be me.
It's gonna be me. And then by the end of it, the owners are just sitting there, just like, "Son of a, you know what? What a call!" I mean, that's Babe Ruth calling his shot. That'd be interesting to see an NFL run by Kevin Warren.
I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead.
All right, appreciate you guys for tuning in to Show and Love, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I think we're going to wrap it up there. For Shea Norling, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Let us know in the comments below. Would you rather have a championship year and 9 terrible years after that, That's how you phrase it, right? Terrible. You're a terrible team.
Just hit losing seasons. You can be the Royals. You can be the 2016 Royals.
Or are you talking Steelers here? Championship, but 9-8.
Yeah, either way. I mean, whatever you want to frame it as.
Well, that's different.
The Steelers.
That's a different scenario.
The problem with the Steelers now, though, is the Steelers are sustained success to a level that it's become detrimental to them.
Yeah, that's sustained mediocrity.
Yeah,
that's what the Steelers are.
That's what they are.
Let's go with that.
I'm thinking more the Royals, where like the Royals were terrible, jump-started it, made a World Series, won a World Series, and then immediately went to being terrible again for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Would you rather have that or sustain success? Let us know in the comments below. I'll be down there to talk with you guys as well.
Hey, here's another one. You can be the White Sox.
Oh, no. No. That's 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the White Sox just kept doing that.
You want to know what the problem with the White Sox is? We live to see a World Series. And so it's like, it's been okay as a franchise. And I love the White Sox. They are my team. They are one of the worst franchises in baseball history.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They are one of the worst franchises in baseball history. Like, it's not even close. Their win percentage and their playoffs. We've seen, how many playoffs have they been to? Or how many playoff series have they won over like 100 years?
Four, I think.
All of them in 05.
Well, 3 of them in 05 and then 1 somewhere else. They would only played 3 series in 05.
Oh, that's true. 3 of them in 05 and then
it would have been a championship series in the 60s.
Do we get the cheat one where it's like a play-in game? Does that count? Did we get one of those? We did with Griffey, right? Didn't we get one of those with Griffey?
I don't remember. I know they lost to Houston.
It sucks. It's bad. It's bad. So, no, I don't want that. Let us know in the comments below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.